Really, really good.
So you think they can beat University Heights
It
if
was
they both
University Heights beat them 80-78 earlier in the year, so I'd say it's going to be a good game.
out of time?
We had to beat both of them to get. Which we've been playing well. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been playing, but we made a lot of mistakes last night. Those layups, he just tried to lay over the rim. If he used the glass, he would have made them every one.
Who was that?
Gaither, he tried to put it over, just drop it over
We're
the
about
rim.
40 to nothing.
Hurt.
Who played the best game?
Aegustine in Evansville won 33-1 last night.
He was hustling everywhere. Some of the rebounds he got when he got there. He jumped everybody.
Yeah.
He's a good
Yeah,
count.
I felt sorry. What do you do? He put like a 2-3.
Right, but that's what someone said. He was like,
MJ
oh.
and Hayden didn't play the whole 2 quarter. About 3 or 4 minutes in the third quarter.
All right, it's
Never came
9
back
o'clock. We'll let Mr. Manning get us started here.
You know, Union County is very good about taking care of its own, and I've got permission to read this letter. It says, I will soon undergo a heart valve replacement surgery. I will meet with my surgeon on March the 5th. The day of the surgery will likely be soon after that meeting. The recovery will be from 8 to 12 weeks. I will know more specifics following the March 5th meeting. Hopefully I will be able to return to work soon, at least on a part-time basis before the 12 weeks is up. All Monsoon. So let's just in our prayer this morning, let's remember Paul. Thank you very much about Ezekiel 36:26 in the Bible that says, I will take away from you a heart of stone and give you a new heart of flesh. So let's just pray that we do that then. Heavenly Father, we just come before you right now. We lift up Paul. We lift up all those that have need of your mercy and your healing power this very morning. Father, I also ask you, sir, if you would be with the judge and the magistrates as they make the decision that will affect all the people here in the county. And we believe it will be done justly and honorably because we do ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Manning, thank you. Thank you as always. This is that. Excuse us while we do a little housekeeping. I'm sure that Crystal is heartbroken that her microphone is not working this morning, but thank you for sharing it. Thank you for sharing it. Welcome, everybody. It's a good day to be here. And, man, sunshine is nice out there.
Yes, sir.
Good. Good to have everybody. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made on the minutes that you've been provided?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Chief, would you lean outside and ask our wrestlers to come in here and get in close and tighten up?
He said he'll take a picture. Tell them what they used to say in the movie, but I don't think I like what they say.
Y'all gonna have to, some of the shorter ones are gonna have to be in the front. Don't worry, that was me always, crisscross applesauce. If I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. So come on in here. And we'll have to have 2 rows, I'm sure. Yeah, come on in. Maybe take a knee, whatever, however you want to, because we're going to try to take your picture in a minute. Miss Catlett, you have your work cut out for you. Get it, yeah, get everybody in here. Come on, Miss Sheffer, you get in here too. You in here? It is. I talked to Coach Robert shortly after these fine young folks won yet another state championship, and we are so proud of them and thankful for them and the dedication that they put forward. So it's fitting that we would invite them here to be part of this, where we can brag on them a little bit from a county perspective. And I tell, when I'm out and about at the state all the time, I tell people we're the #1 corn producer, We're the #1 coal producer, and we are a dynasty in wrestling because of the efforts of these folks and the ones that have before them. And Coach Robert pointed out at the pep rally afterwards, the youngsters on the sideline waiting to step in to where these folks are now. And so it's good to see that chain of leadership, and we are just proud as we can be. I have a proclamation I'll read, and then we'll go from there. Whereas the County of Union would like to recognize and congratulate the members of the Union County High School Wrestling Team, and whereas the Union County High School Wrestling Team has accomplished winning 16 straight regional titles and 11 state champion titles, with 4 state championships being consecutive titles, and whereas I encourage all Union County citizens to congratulate the members of the team, coaches, and parents of these young folks, and to continue offering support and encouragement as these outstanding young citizens continue their pursuit of sports, academics, and future goals as they continue the path towards adulthood. They have proven that they are individuals striving for and obtaining success in their endeavors. They have already started down the path of fulfilling their dreams of multiple accomplishments and becoming valuable young leaders of our community. Therefore, I, Adam Onan, Judge Executive, Union County Fiscal Court, do hereby proclaim February 24th, 2019 through March 2nd, 2019 as Union County Wrestlers Week in Union County, Kentucky.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion from the magistrates?
I think I heard somewhere that these guys won 13th Street in the small school division. Is that right?
Is that right, Coach Robert?
That's small school, yeah.
Small school. So,
Yeah,
Jim?
I just want to applaud and commend you on the hard work that goes into it. We get to watch you out on the mat during a tournament, but it doesn't tell the story, and you have to visit that weight or that wrestling room to really understand what goes into it. So I applaud you. I thank you. I thank the coaches for your hard work. And most importantly, I thank you for growing these guys in character. Outstanding.
Anybody else have anything? Rick?
Y'all are just awesome. And Union County proud. And God bless you.
I've been fortunate to sit here for a few years, so I got to see this quite often. It seems like a regular annual occurrence. We're very proud of you. Everywhere we went, whether we went to the bank, our grocery store, or Jones Wrestling, or being on the radios. We don't usually put sports on the radio, but it's another level when we put our wrestlers on the radio in the grocery store so everybody can listen to it. Because that's what they were doing in the car before they came in the store. They listened to y'all wrestling. So y'all represent us well. We're real proud of you.
I want to congratulate you not only on your wrestling, but also your academics. They'll both always stay with you. They'll help you advance in life if you dedicate yourself to life and being a responsible member of society and with good work ethic. Not only be state champions, you'll be also later on, you'll be very successful in your life. And I also want to thank the parents. I had a daughter that played tennis, went to state 3 times. I know what it takes for the parents to follow up with their young men, young lady. It takes a lot of dedication from the parents and a lot of times the grandparents. So I want to thank all of y'all. Congratulations. I want to thank WMSK. I believe they're the only radio station in the state that went and supported and had live broadcast. I want to thank them for what they do for our community. So thank y'all and congratulations.
I would like to thank MSK again too, and all the sponsors, because the sponsors, there was plenty. I know there was a bunch of sponsors, and proud to wear that jacket too. And
Coach Robert, you want to brag on your team a little bit? We'll yield the floor to you.
About them, so I definitely want to talk about them. Real quick, Savannah Bacon was our team manager last year. She was our video photographer, and did a little bit of everything, and then decided in the spring to want to try wrestling, because women wrestling is really growing in our community, and this year they had their first state tournament, and Savannah was the state champion this year. They had the girls. You know, this year we had 6 in the state finals, which was incredible. We had 9 in the top 4, and that's unbelievable. The reason we had 3 new state finalists this year. Last year we had 4 new state finalists, and in order to do that, it takes a lot of really hard work to get that division. And this doesn't happen. I love that that happened overnight, and so it takes a lot of dedication and hard work. These guys have bought in, and they train really hard in the off season to reach that goal of being in the state finals and being part of a state championship team every year. A couple I want to point out, Dalton Russellberg was our JV wrestler last year, and he set a goal. We worked really hard on getting this kid to set goals. Very, very important. And you know, we understand that sometimes we don't reach your goals. We have guys on this team that's been on the varsity team a whole lot and have contributed to these state championships as much as Dalton and some of these guys that state places. They had goals for themselves, didn't reach them. The most important part of reaching a goal is that journey to them. That's when you learn, that's the sweet spot. That's when you learn all your stuff. And for those guys that maybe don't reach it, there's very few people who have the honor or are lucky enough to reach it, to be a state champion. That's everybody's goal. But what they're going to learn while they're in that journey is the most important part. So, anyways, my hat goes off to those guys that haven't weren't part of it. Didn't get to run out of that tunnel, but they did competition there. What they're going to learn in the future is they haven't seen it yet, but it's going to be tomorrow. But Dalton Russellberg set a high goal for himself last year. Was a JV wrestler, and he said, "Coach, I'm going to place in one of those national tournaments." But he said, "I'm going to place in the national tournament." He wasn't going to. It wasn't his turn to try to win a state title, but he set a high goal for himself, placing in the national state tournament. He's going to place in the national tournament, and he did. In the spring, we went to Virginia Beach to play. Set a high goal. He said, "I'm going to win the state championship next year." JV wrestler said, "I'm going to win it," and he was. Came into the state tournament, ranked 8th in the state, and blew everybody out in the state tournament. So pretty incredible. It shows you what goals and how being really focused on your goals helps you do great things. And Micah and Matthias, they were state champs for us. Did a great job. Micah recovered from shoulder surgery this summer. Worked really hard to get that. Trying to win a state tournament for us. Matthias was for his 2nd state title this year, so he broke out of that. Yeah, he had a big old shiner on his eyes, so that was a good one. But anyways, we had a lot of guys that were state finalists, state placers, like I said, that really did a great job. Stephen Little was a 9th grader this year in the state finals, and had a guy that was 5-time state finalists on the road that was a senior, right? The top wrestler in our state, and gave him all he wanted. Came up a little short, but this 9th grade, that's pretty impressive. Recognized Coach Big Riggs, he came from Blair Academy, and we became pretty glad to get part of Coach Big Riggs, obviously. Brings a lot of energy, and he supported your lucky mullet. He couldn't get rid of his mullet this year. He said he can't cut it for that mistake. He had to sport his mullet all year long. His mom wasn't real proud of it. But anyway, I'm really proud of the team. Again, I want to thank Ken Happen for the unbelievable community, the support, Fiscal Court. Like I said, Office Lake is one of the biggest advantages that we have over any team in probably the country. I mean, I've already got teams out in Pennsylvania calling and say, "Hey, we want to come back to your camp." We have over 200 kids come to camp every year, and it's focal point is Office Lake. So I appreciate you guys having that out there and letting us be able to use that here in our camp. Really appreciate it. again, WMSA, John, Dan, you got the superstars, and the whole state can get over on it, that we have a radio station that blows their mind, you know, all these big schools that have so much, and they just can't believe it, and radio station, unbelievable. You're Regina, man, what you do for us, you're at every event, and it's just, I can't thank you enough for your service. You're really good. And again, our administration is top notch and support us, appreciate everything they do. But again, thank you so much. Really, really proud of this young man and saving us time.
As we are proud as well. And so I understand we have one senior on the team.
That's it.
So the future is bright for wrestling in Union County. Jim, did you want to say something?
I just want to say, echo the same thing before. I was like Johnny, I like Johnny, the radio station. But I wasn't much into wrestling a couple of years ago, but I started listening to it on the radio. And shoot, I was wishing I was there. I was so excited, you know. I want to be part of it. But I'm really proud of you guys, and I know the county is too. So good luck in your future.
Yeah. Thank you all. Miss Regina, would a picture be easier in the hall?
It might be, or we can move some of these guys up there with you all.
That's fine. We'd be honored to have them up here.
Does Crystal need to be in the front?
Eric's got it.
Does Crystal need to be in the front?
Yeah, some of you guys come up here with us. Just make sure I got got good-looking young men up here. They might be looking at us, so yeah.
Too good looking.
Gotta get in front.
Yeah, come right on over here.
Big guys. All tall ones in the back.
And you all just kind of gap yourself between the back.
Come on up here a little further. Need some more in here?
Crystal, where's Crystal?
She wanted that. I'm no expert, but she's going to take that place.
Okay.
All right.
Some of you into the front. So, Trace, you come in there.
Trace right in the middle.
You all go down. So, I'm Robert, you'll step up there. Rick, you move down a little time between Brooks and Jared. Let's see what we got. Okay, Stephen, you need to step back. If you'll go in, go around and go between Trevor and whoever Trevor's with. Just stay like that. Okay, still move in, guys. You all really like each other, you spend all this time together. Just give
Been a
them.
lot closer, I know.
Okay, Michael, I don't have you, I don't have Brooks and Roberts. Michael, I still don't have you.
Yeah, there's a spot right there. Micah, you want to come over here?
There's room right here, right between me and Trey.
Now we're
Yeah, I know. Micah's caused a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that.
See, it looks good on, I keep looking at the tablet. It looks good on the tablet.
Looks good on the tablet,
Yeah.
right? Snap the tablet.
Yeah, scoot over.
Okay, Brooke, you move that way a little. Michael, you keep moving that way.
Kind of get him behind the radio.
How's that?
Micah, y'all get Micah straightened out.
If we can move this wall, just oh, we're good. Okay. I maybe we got another square wall. Hold on just a minute.
want to do the same thing next year, so remember where you stood.
Yeah.
Remember where you stood.
Congratulations, folks. Coach Robert, thanks for coming in today. Thank you. Brooks, congratulations. Thank you. Did you sign?
I did,
Yes, sir. Make sure Coach Robert does.
He got it.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in today.
It's on up there.
Y'all use a boat back and forth.
We have before, but it's not easy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, appreciate you coming.
Brooks, good to see you. Thanks for coming in today. Seems kind of lonely in here now, doesn't it?
Get my Drew Carey glasses on here.
We said we do it every year. We didn't know we were going to do it every year.
Hey, that's good. We can pencil in a date next year. That's good. That's a great thing. So we're thankful for them. Next on the agenda. Oh yeah, we do have to vote. We haven't voted yet. All those, I know this is going to be a shocker to everybody, but all those in favor of our proclamation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Crystal. Next on the agenda is Ms. Gill, the Union County Early Childhood Council grant for 2019-2020. I'll yield the floor. Would you like to come up where? I'm sure where everybody can hear you.
You want me to face this way
Sure,
or this way?
sure. Yes, ma'am.
The Early Childhood Council was formed in 2000 in the state of Kentucky. Every county has an opportunity to have one. Some of them merged together. We decided in the beginning, in year 2 is when Union County came on board, that we had our own special needs and we didn't want to merge with, let's say, Henderson, whose needs are not the same as ours because they're so much bigger than we are. So this will be next year will be the 20th year. It was 20 years of funding, and it came from the Kentucky Tobacco Settlement money. And a fourth of that was given to early childhood, and a portion of that went to the councils. So we actually feel like that next year could very possibly be the last year of funding, looking at the state finances. I serve as the chair, and I've been doing it. I came on board after the second year that Union County was involved, when I was the principal at St. Anne's and the director of St. Anne's Preschool. Mary Quinn, who is the owner-director of Superior Child Care, is the vice chair. We are required to have members. 3 members are required to be on, 3 entities. One is Union County Public Schools, which Mrs. Sheffer is on with a couple of other people, because she's not always available, because one of them has to be at every meeting. Somebody from child care, and it can be either a profit or a non-profit, and we have 2 or 3 of those ladies. And then we have to have somebody representing Head Start. So each year we are given the opportunity to write a proposal for a particular amount of money. The amount of money this year is much less for next year. They told us how they did it, and 45% of it had to do with the poverty level of children under the age of 5. And I'll be honest with you, I questioned the numbers, and I had sent a request to ask them to verify that in their office to be sure there was not a clerical error, because we were not sure it was correct. I have not gotten any information, so we're going with where we are. The last 5 years or so, the focus has been on getting children ready to be in kindergarten. School ready, we call it. In order to do that, we have, every county chooses activities and events that they think will help this process. We're required in this year, beginning this year, to meet monthly with 7 members present, including those 3 entities I mentioned. Our main plans for this coming year, and we got this information on the 8th of February. It is due the 8th of March. Requires a 15-page narrative as well as about 20 pages of fill in the blocks. But our activities for this coming year, some of them are the same. We were required to have one new thing. You're probably familiar with Mouse in the House, which occurs every year in March or April at Union County High School, thanks in part to the collaboration with our Union County Schools, that we can do this without having to rent the building or to pay the janitors. Those are picked up by the school districts. We invite you to come. It'll be the 23rd of March from 9 to 11:30. You'll see amazing things happening that day. It is for children from ages 2 to 6 with their parents. You'll see some flyers coming out. We'll send those to the media when they're available. They will include activities, crafts, games. The school bus is coming to talk about school safety. Some of the kids have never been on a school bus if they're going to be entering kindergarten this fall. Firemen will be there. Chief Dollar's going to be there to talk about safety for young children. We'll have storytelling from the library on the stage. We have blocks and puzzles and physical activities in the gym. We do this, and it is interactive. The parent must, or grandparent has to come and interact with the child, because we're teaching the parent as well as teaching the children. We do school readiness learning and resource kits, and these are things that we have created, manually created, and we have chosen things which are age appropriate. Many of the ones that you can buy, for one thing, they're very expensive. The other thing is they're not all age appropriate. The World's Greatest Baby Shower is an activity which occurs in June. We are taking more of that responsibility this year due to the fact that Mrs. Belmer has retired from Extension, and they are short-handed there. And it will be, I think it's the first Thursday in June. June 6th or 7th is the date. Imagination Library we have funded, or we have helped fund from the very beginning. This is where our children get books in the mail until they turn 5 years old. It's sponsored by Dolly Parton, but a lot of people do not realize that every community has to fund this. And some of you are familiar with the pantomime that they've done the last 3 years. This has made been a big help to get this funded. We do a book called 365 Activities for Children. It's sort of like a calendar, and that's exactly what it has. Activities that you can do with your children that are not expensive. We will be doing a training, a 3-hour professional development, if you want to call it that, and that topic will be something that relates to the All-Stars, which is how our child care centers are scored in the way of the things that they need to do to be age appropriate and to be very high quality for parents. So those are the things that we're planning to do. The budget this year is only $3,900. This year it's $59,000. So you can see it's a $2,000 less. Most of our money we spend for resource and materials, nobody gets paid, nobody takes any mileage. We took travel out because they told us it was not required. So therefore we're saving that $1,000 for somebody to go to a conference when we would rather spend that money here locally. And I've included that on the sheet for the mattresses. What we asked for the mattresses, next year would be the 4th year. We're asking them to agree to be our fiscal agent, which basically it's what they call a pass-through. We will get that $3,900, and I will send the invoices through Crystal and Hurst and the staff there for payment. And they can charge the fiscal agent can charge 5% max. Our fiscal court, from the very beginning, under Judge Jenkins, he said, "You're spending all of the money for children and families." And I said, "Yes." He said, "Then we're not charging you that 5% fee." It would be $195. So we're asking the court to agree to be our fiscal agent. When this document is done, is due in about 2 weeks, then it will be submitted to Judge Onan for his signature. I have to sign it, he has to sign it, the co-chair has to sign it. So he is required to sign our quarterly reports. We have a way to track our funds. We don't have a checking account. We're not a 501c3. So basically Mary Queen and I basically buy most everything we need. We submit our tickets to Fiscal Court for payment. We eat all of the tax. So whatever they charge us for tax, if we buy something, then she and I are donating that out of our pocket, because that's the way that we have done business from the very beginning. I've shared with Fiscal Court a copy of our brochure. I have a few more of those if anybody else would like one. And I also shared the 365 activities. If you would like one of those, I can leave one for you somewhere. If you have children or grandchildren that would be under, it can be adapted for older children, but it basically is designed for young children. It's something we're very proud of, and we've been doing it for several years. And I thought maybe it was going to be something we were going to take away. And Amy Turner, who is one of our new person that came onto the council this year with public schools, she said, I think we need to do that. She said, we can do those, we can print those in kind. And most of our printing is done in kind. Fiscal Court allows us to make our copies here. I bring the paper and they let us copy whatever we need. I have a nice laser printer in my home, and sometimes it's just easier to print it at my house than it is to come to the office to do it. But we appreciate the support of the Fiscal Court in the past in dealing with the Early Childhood Council. Thank you.
To get started, I'll just entertain a motion that we would continue our agreement to act as a pass-through agent with 0 administrative fees.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Now, how about discussions or questions for Ms. Gill?
Ms. Gill, do you work on a fiscal year or a calendar year?
We work on it. Well, it's really, we get our money depending on Frankfurt, but it always ends the end of June. But we don't usually get money until September, October.
Theoretically, a fiscal year.
Yes, theoretically, it's a fiscal year. What they do is we have a memorandum of agreement that I have to sign and the judge has to sign once we have been approved, which means they like what we wrote. And that we were able to document that it makes sense, well, our projects and things make sense with the data.
Like I say, I appreciate all you do and your committee does, and I'm certainly on board with it, and for us to continue not charging the 5%. Is that a problem for you, Crystal, or you, it's no okay?
Those ladies are fantastic.
We're well aware.
And find my mistakes if I have one.
I would add, and this is true not just of Ms. Gill, but a lot of retired people in our county. I don't know how retired people work so much. She is in here a lot, and we are thankful for those folks that step up, and they do a lot of good, and there's a lot of unsung heroes that, and it's not unusual to look up and see Miss Gill in the office turning in a ticket or working, making copies or working, and so just want everybody to know we're thankful for those retired folks that are still. We're counting on you, and we thank you for that work. It's good stuff that's happening.
People that are on that council have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been the chair probably 15, 16 years. It's supposed to be, you're only supposed to be on 3 years. They've never enforced that. And in small communities like us, there's no way that you can get that turnover of people every 3 years.
Oh, I think that job's yours for a while.
I know, I keep asking for somebody else to step up and take this.
When you're
Well,
doing the job you're doing.
Yeah, when you're good, it's hard to get replaced. So
I think I
good
have
for you.
more extra time than they do.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. You do a great job regardless of that. So, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for your time this morning, Ms. Gill. And we look forward to continuing that relationship. Item number 3 is the Union County EMA Order of Affiliation Agreements. What I have are 3 different orders of affiliation. I'm going to read about the first paragraph, and they are all the same except we have 3 different squads, and I'll go on and mention those now, and Greg, you can chime in if you'd like to. These are order of affiliations with the Morganville Rescue Squad, Sturgis Fire and Rescue Squad, and the Uniontown Water Squad. And so I'll read this order, and I think we can do it in one motion to take care of all. The purpose of this order is to establish responsibilities and chain of command between Union County Fiscal Court, Union County EMA Director, and Morganfield Rescue Squad, Sturgis Fire Rescue Squad, and Uniontown Squad in the provision of rescue squad services. The County Judge Executive hereby grants to the Rescue Squad the authority to operate in the County of Union and places the Rescue Squad under the direction of the local EMA Director. In granting this authority to operate, it is recognized that all assets, property, funds, or interest acquired, appropriated, donated, or raised for the benefit and/or operation of the Rescue Squad shall be deemed the property of the County of Union, or, when acquired through state funds, the property of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The Rescue Squad will be responsible for the management and accounting of the assets described above, but may not acquire an interest in the same. Bylaws of the Rescue Squad will conform to applicable state and federal laws and regulations, and may not limit the authority of the County Judge Executive and/or the local Emergency Management Director in the provision and management of Rescue Squad services to the county. The Rescue Squad is the sole officially recognized or one of the severally officially recognized rescue squads by local governments. By virtue of this order, the Rescue Squad becomes officially affiliated with the local government and locally recognized emergency management agency as recognized by the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management. And so I would entertain a motion to take in this order of affiliation with all three of the groups. Motion's made and seconded. Any discussions?
Mr. Greg, is this verbatim what we did last time?
Yes, sir.
Do I need to abstain voting on this, me being chief of the rescue squad?
For safety's sake, let's do that. Let's do that. That's a good catch. Thank you. We certainly want to have these orders in because we count on our rescue squads and another group that does a lot of services. So this basically turns them loose to operate in the county under the direction of this court and the emergency management. So we're thankful for them. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And would you note on there that magistrate? Well, I had abstained. Thank you. Number 4, MOA House Bill 200 N147. This is a Union County High Threat Protection Film. This is just the order in which that goes. We received documentation back from the Department of Local Government that our project has been approved. And so in order for us to start drawing down on those funds, it has to come back before the court this morning. So I'll read the specific amounts. This is House Bill 200 Coal Severance Funds of 2018 High Threat Protection Film of the Union County Public Schools and John Paul II for a contract amount of $34,889. That's $34,889. I'd entertain a motion to approve that memorandum of agreement.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Floyd and second by Magistrate Clemens. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. This would be a good time to point out that we have the memorandum of agreement between Union County Public Schools and Union County Fiscal Court, as has been approved by our county attorney, Julie Wallace, and so we will execute that today. In fact, while you're here, we'll get you to sign that as well, and we'll be on go to start the Union County Public Schools as soon as we can get them back down. I know Chief Dobler's been very instrumental in that, and that'll have everybody ready. John Paul II has already been installed, and so again, thank you for all those involved and for allowing us to be part of it to make our kids safer here in Union County. So appreciative of that. So next on the agenda is set advertisement dates for Moffett Lake manager position. We would like to advertise on March the 6th through and March 13th. We will accept applications until March 18th, 2019, and hope to have a recommendation by the next court meeting. What date is 26th of March?
So,
Go ahead.
so moved.
Is there a second? Motion made and second. Any discussion?
Sit on the Moffett Lake Committee, it's Magistrate Burns and Magistrate Briggs.
And they will meet with the Personnel Committee in conjunction to do that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is claims.
I did it last time.
Sure, yeah.
Verbalize it.
Yeah, we reviewed claims yesterday, and nothing outstanding. Like a couple of authorization signatures, and I'm sure we secured those, Crystal.
Yes,
now.
sir.
So I move that we accept the claim reports.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. For my part, I have several things that that I want to touch on, but I want to recognize first we have our superintendent, Patricia Sheffer, here, and thank you for coming and being part of it, and Ryan Scott, our principal for Morganfield Elementary School. Would you like to give a plug for the Poverty Summit? I know I'm catching you off the cuff, but go ahead.
Do I need to stand up?
Yes, I'd like for you to stand up and come up here where everybody can see it.
I'm not sure if everybody knows me. I'm Ryan Scott, principal at Morganfield Elementary.
Rick, would you turn your microphone around? So this is for people in internet land to be able to hear
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so today I'm not coming for any money, just so you know that right off the bat. Yes, that's always a good thing to put out there, right? So I actually came in conjunction with my friend, Officer Deibler. A lot of people call us twins. I wished I was not like Danny DeVito and a better person, but Jeff and I met actually at the pantomime last year. And if you didn't have a chance to see it, we dressed up as Britney Spears, and that was a lot of fun. Yes. And we developed a really good relationship right off the bat, and he came into the school all the time. You can always find him in kindergarten, sitting on the floor, reading books to kids, and all of that, all the time. And then the events at Marshall County happened, and him and I started talking the very next day about something that we could do within Union County. We felt called or led that we needed to do something to do stuff to help our students so that it never got to that point. And so we affectionately started what we call now UC Cares. And a lot of the folks in this room have been coming to some of those meetings. And our vision was wide, but with the help of our members, we have narrowed it down. And last year, we really focused on school safety, and a lot of the initiatives that happened last year was talked about at our meetings, and Ms. Sheffer was a part of that, and Mr. Onan was a part of that, and so it kind of disseminated out, and we are very proud that some of the stuff that we brought up last year actually came to fruition. This year, we were starting to talk about some other things, and we just we started talking about poverty and how Union County has some poverty, has quite a bit of poverty. And then we started to talk about its effects, crime, drug use. We see it in the school every day, its effects of poverty. And I think sometimes we get desensitized in the schools because we deal with it every day. I know Ms. Coker, when she was in her capacity as a Frisky at Morganfield Elementary School, it happened every day that you kind of just took it for granted that, this is stuff that happens. But in a community as large as we are, sometimes people don't understand that there is large pockets of poverty in our county. And so this year we've came to the goal of putting on a poverty summit. Now, it has happened, various things like this have happened in surrounding counties. And it's essentially just a day to get as many of we want to start by getting as many of the movers and shakers in Union County to sit down, learn about poverty. Why does it affect us? Why is it something that we need to be talking about? So we have set on the calendar April 27th. We'll be at Job Corps, our friends at Job Corps have agreed to entertain us and to feed us that day, to provide some the logistical things that we need. We have invited two, I think, really experts on the subject. Gentleman, PhD, Bob Barr, who I first met at Kentucky Associated School Administrators Conference last summer. He speaks on, and he has studied poverty for over 30 years, particularly poverty in schools and how it affects schools and why we should be paying attention to poverty in the schools. He's going to come, and he's going to give a presentation, and he's going to be talking about the changing workforce and the skill gaps and how that affects schools and poverty and kind of some things that schools can do, but also some things that communities can do to counter those effects of the skill gaps. What better place to have it than Job Corps, which its sole mission is to fill those skill gaps. And then also in the afternoon, we're going to be entertaining, her name is Michelle, last name escapes me right now, but she is the KEA Director of Excellence, Leadership Excellence. So she goes out all around Kentucky leading professional developments with teachers. And one thing she does is a poverty simulation. And what a poverty simulation is it gets a group of people in a room and it puts you through what it feels like to live in poverty for a month. And through the course of that simulation and debrief questions, she's going to lead our community through what are some of the barriers to poverty, barriers to overcoming poverty that are in the county right now, and kind of just start the ball rolling on some conversations that as a community we can start talking about poverty and what we can do as a community to overcome, which on down the road indirectly, actually directly affects our schools and how that affects our schools and then employability and employment. So we came today to plug it because we need as many folks as we can. Be expecting some invitations. We are trying to get all elected officials, judges, family court judges, anybody, pretty much anybody with skin in the game, which is really a lot of people. We're shooting for at least 80. We need 80 people for this simulation to be effective. So if you would, help me spread the word, send out the bat signal. It's going to be a good time. Job Corps always makes great food, so come on out for some good lunch. So, thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, Principal Scott.
Yes, sir.
When Superintendent Sheffer came over, she brought in the figures of 11.3 homeless among the students in the county. I think all of us were shocked. Is that a problem you deal with on a daily? I know daily.
Every single day. Yes, sir. And I was telling somebody this the other day. I don't know what it is about Morganville, but we have people that move here from the strangest places. I don't know why they come to Morganville, but and it's usually a stop before they go somewhere else. We just had a family move from Missouri, and they're staying on people's couch, 5 people, until they can make their way to Henderson. They didn't have the funds, I guess, to get to Henderson. We have a lot of that. We have people that come in from Texas, and they live here for a short amount of time and then move on. We have a great deal of transient kids that move from school to school to school, and that's why Ms. Shepherd's very big on Rural One Elementary School to make sure kids are exposed to the same types of things that every elementary school. Yes, I would say that's a big problem.
The Audubon area data that I received a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sure you guys have seen it as well, illustrates and highlights what you guys do on a daily basis. We rank, and I might have shared this at our last meeting, we rank at the bottom of every chart that we don't want to rank at the bottom of. Abject poverty, transportation needs, things of that. And so I commend you for trying to bring attention and how those barriers, that's what we've got to figure out. What are those barriers that we can We as a court can help remove, and we as a school system and society, how we can help remove those barriers. That's really important. And, I say all the time, we have all these jobs available in Union County, and some of the barriers to having a good job are transportation, and just can't get there. So how do we approach and attack that and try to solve that problem and start moving ourselves off of that bottom of that list? And I know you guys are certainly invested in that as well, and we appreciate it and look forward to working with you. You got me in on that.
Mr. Scott, you made the remark that you have skin in the game. I think that every citizen in Union County has skin in this one.
Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Chief, did you have anything to add to that?
I just, Brian's a whole lot better speaker than I am, because I'll start crying. It breaks my heart. I would challenge each and every one of you to sit down with Melissa and just let her judge the situation. Really what you do, absolutely. Part of the reason I spend as much time with those kids is because it breaks my heart. Bottom line is the only way it's going to change is if people like me, people like you, become invested in it. That's the only way it's going to change. But I would challenge each and every one of you to sit down with her. I think she's got some stuff.
Thank you, sir.
Chief Dybler, I've got a resource at home. My wife taught for 30 years, and she can tell me a lot of sad stories. So Melissa's probably got even more of what goes on with some kids.
I'm also in there. My wife taught 28 and a half years in Brittany County, and she knows too. So.
Yes.
It is sad, and we also want to point out the positive part of our community, and thankful for things like Robert Evans, our coaches push, character and sportsmanship, it's so important. There's several of those guys that student points that we're not understanding. Robert, Robert, at an early age, they start those youngsters at age 4. Sunday, and then they start up to 4 years old. But that's what it's about. Early on, we work with relationships. And a lot of those students that we receive scholarships that we've never known that much. Had it not been for the pushing and teaching them as that commitment to wherever you're going to be versus compliance. Any of us can be compliant and go through a job, but if you're truly committed and have that passion for excellence, that's what it's about. And that's what our vision now is inspiring the champions in. Because a lot of that was focused on the poverty level we had before.
Mhm.
I came to work with Jeff and a quarter before, and this is Union County. I said, what is it for our children? And I was there for VLOG. And we asked that part about VLOG. That's where it came through about after there is poverty. It's not going to be excuses. So that's why we support that everybody in the college. So even if they think they're not, there's a lot of potential. If you can just put your skills, God gives you inside of you, and you can do that. So really encourage you to connect with them this year. It's talking about what your strengths. When we have any conversation about that, what are your things you're going to take? What about your weaknesses? Now, if we focus on the positive and our strengths, we're going to see a different thing. So I think we've got the right people doing this. Shareholders are very excited about that. And then I want to say thank you for support for everything. Don't be part of what we can say. Sad and worry all day long, and there are issues out there. All of their together.
Wringing our hands is not going to fix anything. And so,
I'll be thankful for people like Jerry Beard who got Happy Feet started in this county, and also I don't know if he had anything to do with that package kids take home in the afternoons on the weekend. But here's a man that's donated a lot of his time to this county to help it out.
A lot of people work behind the scenes, and I've shared this with you. You talk about these kids going to that are wrestling and are going to go to college because of it. I'm here because of Hazel Brinkley. Literally, I'm right here because of Miss Hazel Brinkley. And so just those investments are precious. And so we've just all got to jump in and do that. So thank you all for what you do and appreciate that. A couple more things I have to add. I want to again highlight to be thinking of Paul Monsieur as he, as our family is just absolutely going through the same thing that he has. It's he'll do well, but keep him in your thoughts and prayers. If you think about it, send him a card. We'll miss him being up here for a while. He's Paul's a good team member and a great family member that we consider up here. So we'll want you to remember that. If you saw out here when you leave, you'll see the signature. Thank Allens and Teagues for doing that. They donated that one this year. They did as well last year. It's hanging up in the hall back there if you'd like to see it. Something interesting that schools that I'll share, and Ms. Sheffer, you may be aware, Ms. Gill, I was at a grad meeting last week, 2 weeks ago, last week. There's a new program project that the United Way is rolling out. It's called 211. And so when we need our sheriffs or police chief to come see us, we dial 911. 211 is going to be a county, well, it's actually going to be a state, really broad-based program. But when people need help, whether that's electric going to be turned off or homeless needs, transportation, we can tell them to call 211 and they will specifically designate areas or they will know of the spots in each county because they're going to ask you for your zip code. That's about as personal as it's going to get. And they'll be able to plug people right into needs or that have those resources to help with those needs. And one of the neatest things about this project is they're going to follow up a few days to make sure the need got taken care of, which is one of the big issues, follow up and making sure it's done. So I was so excited at that meeting, spoke with the organizers of that, and when they get to Union County, I pledged our support to help roll that out very publicly. And we want to include you all, and I know the court will want to be included because it's going to provide those real needs for those people that we have been speaking about, and we want to try to be helpful with that. So I'm really excited about the potential that lies there, and Miss Gill, it's going to dovetail right in with a lot of things you're doing as well. So
We have some of that information. We can put some of that out in the material we're going to distribute at Mouse in the House.
that'd be great, and I hope that happens by then. And I think that was in June, you said?
It's in March.
March.
One in June will be.
Yeah, we may have to. I'm not sure they're going to have it ready to roll out. They have it. It is live in places across the state, and so I hope that we'll be one of the first counties in Grad to get that. I think they have Owensboro kind of hovering in the. I mean, it's just ready to launch, and so once that's done, then they'll move on. And I've encouraged them to come here as quickly as they can. So I anticipate that we'll see that, and we'll certainly want to include our media partners in that as well, how we can get that word out. And I'm really excited about the potential that might bring. So.
You'll see some of those folks at grocery stores.
Right. Okay. Sure.
On a county level, for quite a while, this court has always supported the United Family Services,
Mm-hmm.
which in turn does a lot of things we talk about, whether it's electric, gas, and utilities. This court's been more than gracious the last since I've been here.
Yeah, we met right before this meeting, and so they work in conjunction with Audubon Area Services. So it's great that these organizations are working together, not reinventing a wheel or duplicating services, but trying to figure out how we can stretch our dollars and make them go further. So, and that goes right in with the Children's Council as well. So, I mean, it all works together. So we're thankful for that. Some of my judge friends are in Frankfort today discussing House Bill 198. I told you I'd try to keep you apprised of that. That hasn't been, it's been submitted and filed. It hasn't come out of committee, and so they're meeting with some leadership today to see how we can move that along, and so we're still hopeful that that'll get out. Met with the District 2 Kentucky Highway folks 2 weeks ago. with Melissa and Sean, sat in on that meeting, setting our priorities for the county. We go before the grad group tomorrow, and what they'll do is they'll pitch that to the state, and it's pretty much the same. We want to, until we see dirt moved on Highway 60, that's going to remain our project, and then we're going to move right into Highway 56 after we have worked with the Deputy Looney and all those on the state level on 56, trying to start back that process of getting that widened. And most people don't know that most of the right-of-ways have been purchased, so most of the hard work's been accomplished. So we just need to get some money on that and get going. One thing, last week I declared a state of emergency, and a lot of people wonder, you know, when we just drive Highway 60, we don't know that, but at the time of that declaration of a state of emergency, we had I think it was 18 county roads and 14 state roads with some amount of water over them. And so that is significant. And the reason that we declare a state of emergency is so we can recoup money from the national level or FEMA if the governor so chooses to declare a certain portion of our state declaration of emergency, and he has done that. So that puts us in line to be able to recoup some money. The last time we went through this process, working with Mike and Greg and Lissa and Sean, we recouped close to $200,000 worth of road work that we incurred because of the flooding, and we'll have a significant amount of cost again. So anytime we can dip into those funds, we're certainly going to do that. So we'll be in line when those funds come available, and these guys are old pros at it now, so they, just as long as they don't change the reporting on them like they from time to time that they do. Also, we'll be working with our pavers in the spring soon as we can get some cooperative weather and warmer weather. You'll see some county roads being paved that we put off from in the winter when we didn't think it would work as well, and so and hopefully to add a little bit to that. And Highway 60, I think I shared with you, we're going to work on a passing lane coming out of the bypass towards Job Corps. The State Highway Department is committed to getting that. Jim Ricketts rode out there with me when the state guys were here, and they did some measuring and think we can make that where the semis, when they turn headed towards the Breckenridge and the Job Corps, can stay in that one lane. It will let those cars pass safely on the other. So that'll be a good get for us, and it'll be hopefully make it safer. So that's all the rambling I'm going to do. I'll start, and I don't think Rick's going to be able to do much with his voice, but
I just want to thank Miss Catlin, Johnny Harr, for what y'all do for kids and the sports in Union County. We are blessed beyond. Thank you.
Jerry?
On that same thing, we've talked about the radio and the papers, and I think Union County, because if you go anywhere, we got the support. It's crazy how much support we have at every event. If you went out there last Thursday night and you had to stand, you had to wait in line to get in the gym, to watch a basketball game, it's a good problem. I mean, we had to park at the middle school, we had to park everywhere. I know last night we had a big crowd, the restrooms have a big crowd. I mean, you go down to cheer, dance, band, it's always well supported, and they're doing a great job. We want to keep our kids busy. That's the main thing. The sun has brought out, we've started picking up trash on the roadsides again. We got 130 yesterday. Makes a big difference. Of course, when they pick it up, every little piece of trash drives you crazy after that, so it gets bad again. So just think Danny and the boys, they were out there yesterday picking up, and then they pick the bags up right behind them. So I'll get an update on Sean on water project.
Last week, the contractor did work at the north, about 85% complete the project. Left on Waverly High School, seal everything and pressure tested. So, obviously, it's been a lot of rain. Contract, I believe, had 120 days. Every day it rains, takes away from it. So, we'll be happy with Burgess. They're doing a great job.
They've had plenty of rain.
They always do in this county.
When you're doing a water project, it rains four or 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It's hard to
So, the weather we had, they've done a great job. So,
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Yeah,
Jim?
I too echo the same sentiments with regard to the media. You guys do a fabulous job, and we certainly appreciate it. We don't take it for granted, even though we might think we do, but it's noted. I do want to, on behalf of some of the citizens in Caseville, I want to commend Mike and your crew for taking care of them a couple weekends back. They had water issues, and they only had one route out, and taking care of that hill. And I would like for you to share that with your men, your crews that took care of that, because I heard from a lot of citizens their appreciation for addressing that, so I thank you for it.
Okay. Jim Burns?
I'd like to give you a little comment. I drove the roads out yesterday to make sure that our buses could maybe safely get to Dixon. And I called and let everybody know, and Mike, he's kept me up to date with a whole lot of what's going on. He's got everything I need, I believe, on the roads. But I'd like to commend the road department. They've done a great job.
All right, thank you. Master Clemens?
Everybody, I want to just be aware on those roads, if water was over, some of those roads are cut out. You have to be very careful. I think Mike and his crew were working on one yesterday, Peter Cruz. So when you're driving those roads, keep an eye on the edge of the road, especially down in the Waverly Flats, because those roads are, a lot of them are eaten out on the side or maybe undermined a little bit. So just a word of caution if anybody's driving those roads. Johnny, are the Cardinal baseball schedules in? Okay, thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Clemens. Anybody have anything else to add before we're going to have to go into executive session on some pending litigation? But appreciate everybody being here. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session per KRS 61810(1)(c).
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you all. Ms. Sheffer, I don't think